All the fellas go. All the fellas go.
All the honeys go. All the honeys go. Hey baby girl, looks like you got talent, got a superstar bankroll. Go ahead and count it. I got money, got some cars, got some homes, got some clothes. Swagger from my head right down to my toes. I'll get wild, I'll get wild. Come up to the spot, I'll get wild. Do it, turn the camera on, let's get wild. Fill off what you want, just my style.
Hello girls, come on. So when you hear someone say living large, sometimes you think, well, they're implying living a bold and extravagant life. Well, for me, it's really about taking what you have or what you do and getting large with it and having some fun. You see, I always enjoy having family and friends over, and I'm always looking for ways to entertain them without busting the budget. So in today's show, I thought we might take a look at some ideas that are small on investment, but large on the living. So why don't we get started? When you're trying to feed a family on a budget, growing some of your own food just makes a lot of sense. Now let's talk about a really sweet idea, blackberries. You love blackberries? I love blackberries. I grow lots of them. Just look at these beauties. What's amazing about the blackberry plant is that a single plant, well, it'll cost you about 20 bucks, but it will produce up to 12 pounds of berries once it's fully mature. And that depends on some growing conditions, but just think about that, 12 pounds per plant. Now, if you go to the produce department in the grocery store, you'll find blackberries in those little 6-ounce packages, fresh. Those run about 6 bucks a piece. To get 12 pounds of those at 6 bucks for one of those little packages, you're talking around $200. Okay, it's easy to see the financial benefit, but there are other benefits as well. For instance, getting kids involved in the garden. This particular variety of blackberry is called Arapaho. I love it because it's thornless and, as I've already mentioned, produces a lot of blackberries, which is going to really get the kids excited. As you can see, growing some blackberries is a pretty sweet deal all the way around. Coming up, blogger Amy James shows us how to stretch your dinner dollar. Designer Toby Fairley gives a tip any big family can use, and we'll maximize your usable space outdoors with lawn games. Feeding a large group of friends or family can sometimes be costly, but my friend Amy James has a delicious recipe for slow cooker pinto beans that's not only great tasting, but budget friendly.
I'm Amy James. I blog at oureverydaydinners.com. I started my blog because I had friends constantly asking me, so, you have 3 kids. What in the world are you cooking for dinner? And so I would answer that question over and over, so then I thought, hey, why don't I just blog about it? When I got married, I had no clue how to cook. And I really didn't even know until I started to have children. We loved to eat out. We loved to go to different restaurants every single night. But then when the kids came along, obviously, that was no longer an option. So I had to find a way to make delicious food at home. And they're not always the most adventurous eaters, but they like to try new things from time to time. But I really try to cook what I like to eat and not so much chicken nuggets and things like that. I like to cook things that sound good to me. Cooking for a large family can be very expensive. One thing I like to make is beans. My whole family likes beans. And so you can, for a couple dollars, you can feed an entire family of 5 with my simple beans recipe. A pound of beans, you can double the recipe if you want, if you have a big slow cooker. All you do is you rinse the beans, pick out the rocks, stones, dirt, whatever. I rinse them out, and then I soak them with water just to cover for the whole day. Then that night, I take the beans and I put them into the slow cooker. I add an entire onion cut in half, 4 cloves of garlic, and some ham, or ham hock or ham bone if I have it, and cover them with beef stock. I cook them on low all through the night and all through the next day. And then they're ready. They cook for about 20 hours. Then when they come out, they're very soft, but they're not mushy. And I like to serve them the way I would serve chili, with tomatoes, avocado, cheese, all the good toppings. So the first night, typically we have beans in a bowl with all the toppings, with chips. And then the second day, you can have burritos, you can have tacos, you can put them into an omelet and make like a southwestern kind of omelet with some salsa. But you can eat them, I mean, as long as they last. Usually in my house, it's only a couple days.
After the break, we'll learn how to get big results in your container gardens. And my good friend Toby Fairley shows us how to find a place of your own. One of my favorite gardening activities in the fall is to plant bulbs. You see, in each one of these tulip bulbs is a flower already packaged and ready to grow. I take bulbs like this and I plant them in a container about this size. I've filled this up with a good potting soil that's designed for container gardening. So I filled it up about halfway, and then what you want to do is you just want to simply take these tulip bulbs and place them in side by side until this entire basin is filled, just like this. The pointy side goes up, and you just press them in like that. All right, now it's time to cover those with about 3 inches of soil. We're going to line another layer of them. So next I'm just going to add another little layer of soil here. In the previous layer, I had applied about 1/4 of a cup to 1/2 a cup of bulb food. I like to use an organic bulb food, so that'll feed those. And now I'm going to add a little more soil. This is how you get that flower power I was talking about.
If you have a large family or lots of guests in your home all the time, it's important for you to be able to carve out personal space. Space for you to do what you really enjoy, like listening to music or reading a book. A secretary is a great multi-purpose piece of furniture that does just that. It's great for storing your favorite things like books or maybe a sketch pad or a journal, whatever's personal to you. So get creative and carve out a personal space in your home. It's a great way to design outside your comfort zone.
How to get more out of your garden, just after the break. Now, if you want to make big impact in the garden, sometimes less is more. Let me show you what I mean. Now, I know we're all tempted to go to the garden center, and when we're there, we see all of these gorgeous flowers. Yeah, they're pretty, right? And we want to take them all home. Well, that's really not what you want to do. You want to try to narrow your choice down, and that's what I've done in these beds, and this is what can give you some real punch and visual impact. What I've done is I've only used 3 different types of plants in these beds, and these beds are only about 4 feet by 4 feet square. Now, if you look a little closer to this display, you'll see in the center, I've used one of these beautiful purple fountain grasses. This one's called rubrum, and it serves as an anchor or a focal point here in the center of this display. At its base, I've planted this variety of lantana, which I'm crazy about. This one's called Luscious Citrus Blend. Now, even though each flower is made up of lots of tiny little flowerets, the plant itself can become enormous, spreading out. Only 4 plants in this bed is what I needed. You can just see the array of color. And take a look at how its texture contrasts nicely with the grass. And as a smaller accent plant, there's Carex Toffee Twist. You see, I've planted these on the corners. They may be short, but they're also very dense, making them an excellent option for accentuating the other 2 plants in the display. What's unique about this plant is that while it's living and very healthy, its color is decidedly brown, which is a beautiful color with all of these oranges, yellows, and the deep burgundy of the grass. So as you can see, there's really no need to take a whole lot of different kinds of plants and put them together. If you want strong visual impact, lean on just a few and plant lots of them. There's where you'll get a wow factor in your garden. We'll take the fun outside when we return. Whether you have a large family or you just have a big group of friends you love to get together, I love to throw a party outside where people have a lot of room to have fun. Bring out the snacks, bring out the drinks, and of course bring out everyone's favorite yard games.
Bago is a board game that you play by tossing bean bags from one side to the other, and you compete against another team. And you really don't even have to be that good to have fun at it. There's a couple of different holds. Some people will do it like flat, some people will do like the wad. My personal favorite is called the Frisco Fling, where you kind of set it up like that and all the beads are at the bottom.
I hold it in the center of my hand, pinch the middle, and I take a step and I throw it. So it's almost like a golf swing.
We play for fun. I'm not the best Bago player, but I do the underhanded toss. Woohoo!
If you get one in the hole, it's 3 points. If you get one on the board, it's 1 point. And the points will cancel each other out. So for example, like I throw 3 in the hole and my opponent throws 3 in the hole. The total for that round would be 0 points. And you play until you get to 21.
Bocce, it's the game I'm still trying to understand completely, but you know, it's backyard rules. It's obviously something that, you know, anybody can play. You don't have to be an athlete or anything like that.
My husband played in a tournament 5 or 6 years ago. He and his friend won the tournament, so it got him motivated when we bought a house to mow a court in our backyard, and then we've just been playing ever since and gotten our friends involved.
With our court, the terrain is kind of rolling, so you kind of have to
play the breaks in it almost like golf with putting and just try to get your ball close as you can to the Polino. Basically, you have a ball that's called the Polino, and we call it the peel for short. You just roll it down the court and it's just a little ball.
And then you alternate throwing a green ball and a red ball and try to get the closest to the white pill that you can. If you have 2 closer than any of theirs or 3 closer than any of the opponents, then you get 2 points or 3 points. You can get up to 4 points. So occasionally we use a tape measure to see who's closest if there's 2 that look like they're similar distance. And then the first 1 to 15 wins.
It's in the 70s today. You have football on. Bocce ball is going on. I mean, it's good food. So this right here is as good as it gets in Arkansas.
Everybody's called a horseshoe pitcher. It's pitching horseshoes. I have pitched horseshoes since I was in high school. We used to go out at lunch hour and pitch horseshoes, and I've been doing it ever since. There are people who turn a shoe. There's people who flip a shoe. I flip mine.
First rule in the book is taking off the horse before you start to throw it. And then you take the horseshoe and you just try to throw that thing around the stake, and that's a ringer. A ringer is 3. A close shoe is 1 if it's within 6 inches of the stake.
Because I throw the side shoe, I like for it to be a little wider, because sometimes they're not as wide. You have to really, really look and see which shoe fits you.
Well, it's good exercise. I like for the camaraderie, just to have good fun. It's good competition.
You know, it's easy to go overboard with our spending when we're trying to have a little fun. But I hope in today's show you've seen some ideas that allow you to, well, not break the bank, but still have a good time. At the end of the day, living large is all about enjoying all those people that bring so much joy to our lives. For Garden Style, I'm Alan Smith.
Lots of storage inside for all of your favorite personal things, like maybe your journal or your sketchbook.
All the fellas go. All the fellas go.
All the honeys go. All the honeys go. Hey baby girl, looks like you got talent, got a superstar bankroll. Go ahead and count it. I got money, got some cars, got some homes, got some clothes. Swagger from my head right down.